we have the issue of decentralization of accountant general's departments. We have struggled with this for some years, and I think that the time has come when we take bold action about decentralizing the accountant general's departments. The accountant general in Ghana manages the payroll of a nurse in my hometown in Bole. If she reports to work, she doesn't report to work. If she deserts her position, her salary continues to go into her account, because by the time somebody writes a letter to the region sends it to the ministry sends it to the accountant general, some 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed. And then every year the auditor general will flag it and say somebody continued to receive a salary even after they had deserted their post. There's a case of the person who died. I'm sure you heard it in the last Auditor General's report. And the officials of the entity attended his funeral. And yet, after the man died, they attended his funeral. For 36 months, his salary was credited to his account. I mean, that is extreme anyway, but it's an example of what can happen, if we don't decentralize and strengthen the process. And so, teachers work in the districts, nurses work in the districts, and they form the bulk of our payroll. I don't see why we can't have district treasuries where their payments are made from, so that if they are not at post, it's easier to be able to determine that. I know that you have this system of validation, and so every month they have to sign to make sure that people are at post. But who really goes around and goes to every single school in my district to count which teacher is there and which teacher is not there? They just validate automatically. And that's how come sometimes we have ghosts, on the payroll. However you exercise them, they resurrect. And so that's something that we need to look at. And I'll give the example of gold in Ghana. We had a free-for-all where we had people called gold traders. And they could go into the bushes and buy gold from our small-scale miners. There are several instances, and I'll give you one example. When I was president, my vice president went to India, and he was talking about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. And he mentioned Ghana's export items to India, one of which was gold. And he mentioned a certain value of that gold. And then lo and behold, the Indian Minister of Commerce also came to give his speech and also talked about the increasing trade between Ghana and India. But the fly in the ointment was that there was a disparity in how much gold was reported to have been exported from Ghana and how much gold was received in India. And so definitely something was not quite right. It just meant that people were under-declaring the weight and quality of the gold they were taking out. We also found a disparity where a mining company's figures of exported gold was different from the gold received by exported by that same mining company to Canada. And so this government took the bold decision to establish the gold board and make it illegal to take any gold out of Ghana with stringent penalties. And you won't believe it, the amount of foreign exchange that we get from the gold trade has suddenly jumped so high. It just shows, what greater control of your natural resources can do. And Africa should not be ashamed of it. I mean, the developed countries say they are tired of giving us ODA. Humanitarian assistance has reduced by 40% across the world. And God blessed us with those natural resources. And we must use those natural resources to improve the lives of our people. And so any country that has natural resources in terms of minerals and all that, we must increase our sovereignty in terms of how those natural resources are either exported or insist on value addition for them.